Okay, we're going to continue our look at Fantasy Football 2013 with the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers, last year's runner-up, losing to the Ravens in the Super Bowl. Do have, of course, another great team. They have a number of injuries right now, however, that could affect them fantasy-wise. Quarterback is Colin Kaepernick, amazing in his half year in the league as a starter. He completed almost 63% of his passes, threw for over 1,800 yards. He ran for over 400. He threw 10 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. He ran for 5 touchdowns. I would expect him to do something close to that this year. Probably not run quite as much. Maybe struggle a little bit more as his receiving core isn't nearly as good, especially right now. Uh, but he's still going to put up solid numbers. He's definitely a quarterback worth taking. He's a quarterback one in that 8, 9, 10 range in the Tony Romo type category as far as quarterbacks go. And as such, you can get him in round 6, 7 without much of a thought. And he'll be a solid guy to help any team out. Running back is Frank Gore. Gore last year saw his touches go down as they kind of saved him for the playoffs, and I think they'll do even more of that this year. He still rushed for over 1,200 yards. I think this year he'll get about 225 carries, somewhere in that range. He'll end up with 1,100 yards and 7 to 9 touchdowns. And that makes him a solid running back 2 for anyone. Someone that you can take in the back half of round 2 or round 3 and still get a very solid player out of it. There's no one really threatening him as a starter or going to catch a lot of passes, so no other running backs for the 49ers need to be considered about drafting. Wide receiver is a big mess right now for the 49ers. Michael Crabtree, of course, is out for the year with his Achilles tear. They have A.J. Jenkins, who was expected to be a big role player in this team, and he is now battling injuries in camp. Mario Manningham on the other side has ACL problems, and he hasn't even started to practice yet. Which leaves Anton Bolden, who they picked up from last year's champion Ravens team, as the only decent, healthy wide receiver they have. And even Bolden, from a fantasy standpoint, isn't a terrific receiver. He's average at best. He's an okay wide receiver 2, someone that's going to be available in rounds 8, 9, and you can expect him to catch 70, 80 passes and maybe 6 or 7 touchdowns. Vernon Davis, a very good tight end. I think they're going to split him out wide. They were talking about doing that much more earlier before training camp started. This was, of course, before the wide receivers got hurt. Davis is a solid guy, and he had much more success, however, under Alex Smith than he did under Kaepernick. So I would look and see how they play out. But Davis is, again, one of those multitude of guys that falls in the second tier of tight ends that are going to be available in rounds 9 or 10, and you can pick one at your leisure. Defense is one of the best in the NFL. You've got the Seahawks and the 49ers and the Broncos, I think, are the top 3 defenses out there, along with special teams. The 49ers did lose Ted Ginn. He was a solid return guy. So that's something to be a little bit concerned of, but the 49ers defense will go early. It's probably a round 9 or 10 pick. As far as the kicking game goes, 49ers are going to score a lot of points, so always find out exactly who they're going to have as their kicker. Of course, they had David Akers last year for a large portion of the season, or most of the season, and he went from making most field goals in NFL history to the missing most field goals last year. So whoever they come up with, figure you're going to get a lot of points out of the 49ers. Their defense is going to be really good. They're going to kick a lot of field goals. So, again, looking at it, Kaepernick, definitely a quarterback 1, going to be available in round 6, 7. Frank Gore, round 3 somewhere as a running back 2. Right now, Anton Bolden is their best wide receiver. He's going to be available around 8 or 9. You've got Vernon Davis in that same time frame at the tight end spot. The defense will be the first or second one off the board, and the defense should probably go in around 9 or 10. They usually have a run on them in a draft. So once they start going, they'll all go. And then the kicker spot also is worthy of drafting for the 49ers.